Good evening, this is your AI host, Jay. I'm here with the automatically generated, Journato, evening headlines on January 13, 2023. Chinese flock to Hong Kong to get private COVID booster shots. Ukraine Defense Minister, we are a de facto member of NATO alliance. BBC, we are a de facto NATO member, says Ukrainian Defense Minister, BBC News. BBC News, Ukraine says it is de facto part of NATO. France 24 English, Putin's war vindicated by Ukraine. Kyiv admits being de facto NATO member, watch. Hindustan Times, Ukraine says it's a de facto NATO state, underlining Putin's strategic error. Andrew Tate, latest updates, KSI calls kickboxer, cringy, and issues warning to fans. The Independent, time's up for bad influencer Andrew Tate, the self-proclaimed king of toxic masculinity, News 24, misogynistic alpha male influencer Andrew Tate's deal with the right-wing social media site Rumble is worth millions, he has privately said. CNN, how Andrew Tate became the poster boy of the hard right. The Independent, 5 things to know about Andrew Tate and why he was arrested. We have to rethink the industry, fine dining's future in doubt as Noma calls it a day. The Guardian, Noma to close, why it's so hard to run a sustainable high-end restaurant. The Conversation, Noma and the death of fine dining. The Spectator, as Noma closes, what's next for fine dining? Lonely Planet Travel News, how Denmark's Noma inspired Indian chefs to create seasonal menus. Putin ally says expat war critics should lose homes. BBC, critical Russian émigrés should have property seized, lawmakers say. The Moscow Times, Putin ally suggests seizing property of war critics who fled Russia. Reuters, Putin ally suggests confiscating property, assets of Ukraine war critics. NDTV, Russia may seize property of war critics who fled country, they pour dirt on. Putin scolds defense industry minister in televised meeting for fooling around. The Guardian, Russia's Putin lays into Minister Manchurov for fooling around. BBC, what are you fooling around for? Putin publicly berates senior Russian official on video call. Anadolu Agency, English, Vladimir Putin rebukes Deputy Prime Minister in live broadcast, video. The Guardian, Putin scolds Russia's Deputy PM as Kremlin replaces its commander in Ukraine. Keenan Anderson, Black Lives Matter founder's cousin dies after police arrest. BBC, cousin of BLM founder dies from cardiac arrest after being tasered while shouting, "They're trying to George." LBC, Black Lives Matter founder's cousin dies after being tased in police arrest. Evening Standard, Keenan Anderson, school mourns death of teacher who died over winter break after being tased by LAPD. Fox 11 Los Angeles, cousin of BLM co-founder dies after being tasered by police he flagged down for help. COVID cases in China touch 900 million, study. BBC, China COVID peak to last 2 to 3 months, hit rural areas next expert, China COVID News Live, News 18. CNN News 18, Chinese warn not to visit elderly relatives as COVID spreads from cities. The Guardian, how many people in China may have COVID? About 900 million, says study. Hindustan Times, COVID wave may last 3 months, China CDC veteran warns. California's devastating storm in maps and charts. BBC, relentless cyclones batter California with heaviest deluge in 150 years. The Telegraph, at least 17 dead and a state of emergency declared as extreme storms hit California. Channel 4 News, California's bomb cyclone creates flood warning for millions, BBC News. BBC News, flood warning for millions in North California. Budapest police officer dies after alleged Hungary stabbing. 7 dead as tornadoes sweep through Georgia and Alabama. BBC, superstorm rips through residences in Alabama, Alabama storm today, US News, English News Live. CNN News 18, at least 7 dead as storm system batters southern US with tornado leaving trail of destruction in Alabama. Sky News, at least 6 dead as tornado and destructive storms strike Alabama. It was a massacre, fury and grief amid Peru's worst political violence in years. The Guardian, teen's death brings toll in month of unrest in Peru to 49. The Independent, The Guardian view on Peru's political violence, stop the killings. The Guardian, Peru in peril, the Hindu editorial on the political crisis in the South American country. The Hindu, Peru closes tourist hub airport as nationwide protests persist. Long-awaited trial of 24 aid workers accused of espionage starts in Lesbos. The Guardian, MEP, new EU asylum policy must protect search and rescue missions, NGOs. EURACTIV, Greek court rejects charges against aid workers. The Independent, Greece, humanitarians' ordeal must now end. Amnesty International, drop all charges against refugee aid workers, UN tells Greece. Brazil Congress, Bolsonaro supporters inside palace-enabled riot, Lula. BBC, Lula suspects pro-Bolsonaro staff helped mob enter presidential palace. The Guardian, Brazil riots, far-right online groups calling for civil disobedience following Congress attack. Sky News, in Brasilia, modernist architecture met political violence. UAE's COP28 president will keep role as head of national oil company. The Guardian, United Arab Emirates names oil chief to lead COP28 climate talks, BBC News. BBC News, oil boss will lead the COP28 climate talks in Dubai this year. Channel 4 News, UAE oil exec Sultan Al Jaber will run COP28, inviting controversy. Bloomberg, climate change, UAE names oil chief to lead COP28 talks. Ukraine confident UK will send Challenger 2 tanks to help war effort. The Guardian, Britain to give Ukraine heavy tanks, as German Leos are on hold. Defense News, Leopard 2s from Poland. Challenger 2s from the United Kingdom. All of a sudden, Ukraine could get tanks from all over Europe. Forbes, Ukraine war, UK to send tanks that could help win the war against Russia, dubbed. Channel 4 News, Britain planning to provide tanks to Ukraine, Downing Street confirms. Man charged after assassination of former Japanese PM Shinzo Abe. Sky News, man suspected of assassinating Japan's Shinzo Abe charged with murder. The Telegraph, murder charge filed against Shinzo Abe assassination suspect. The Independent, Japan prosecutors indict man for ex-PM Shinzo Abe murder. Media. Al Jazeera English, Shinzo Abe, man charged with murder after assassination of former Japanese PM. Hellish, battle for Soledar symbolises state of Russia's war in Ukraine. The Guardian, Russia-Ukraine war live, Russia claims it has completed the liberation of Soledar, WION live. WION, Ukraine war, Soledar devastation revealed in satellite images. BBC, Russian Defense Ministry claims it took control of Ukraine's Soledar. Anadolu Agency, English, Ukraine updates, Russia claims control of Soledar. This was all for the news. Thanks for listening. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.